Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back. We're gonna do another cooking video. We're gonna make cloud bread. So I've tweaked this recipe. I've actually done it a couple times, and so I'm just gonna tweak it a little bit as I go through, and I'll kind of explain to you how I tweaked it. But you're gonna need 3 eggs at room temperature. You're gonna need 2 ounces of cream cheese, a 1/4 teaspoon of cream of tartar, and just a pinch of salt. You'll need a baking sheet with some parchment paper on it, and your oven preheated to 300 degrees. You can also sprinkle cheese on the cloud bread right as it finishes, right like 2 minutes before it finishes. I'm not going to do it with this batch, but I'll show you kind of when you can do that. So we're going to go ahead and separate eggs real quick, because when you take your 3 eggs, you're going to separate the yolks from the whites. Now this recipe that I found calls for 3 egg yolks, but in kind of testing, I think I'm going to reduce that by 1 egg yolk. So I'm going to do 2 egg yolks, 3 egg whites, just to kind of see if that gives me a little bit of a more, the last couple times I did it, the mixture was a little runny in my opinion. So I think by reducing the amount of egg yolks, it takes a little bit of the moisture. So we're going to separate 3 eggs. You want to keep 2 of the egg yolks, and you want to get rid of the other one or just set it to the side. So let's separate eggs. Alright, so one of the easiest ways that I know to crack or to separate eggs, usually you can just do it with your hands as long as your hands are dry and not oily. You can actually just crack the egg into a bowl and scoop out the egg yolk with your hand. I can show you that way, and I'll show you the other way that I use. So you just take your egg, you're going to lightly tap it on the edge of your bowl, just so that it gives you that separation there, and then you want to kind of punch it the rest of the way around, just very gently with your finger. Do it over your bowl, kind of making sure you're not getting any egg yolk or getting any eggshells in the bowl. Oh, and I got one in there. Grab that out before we get too far off the finger. So you just want to kind of peel the top of your egg off. Okay, and you're going to take your other egg piece, and you're going to lay it to see where the egg yolk is. You're just going to insert it next to the egg yolk, not to break the egg yolk, but to kind of help it separate from the egg whites. You're just going to pour it in, and what's going to happen is kind of gravity is going to take control and pull the rest of the egg white off. So you can do that a couple times if you don't think you've gotten all the egg white off the egg as possible. So another time this way. You can see we didn't get all of it. And then you can see there's still some egg whites dangling there, so we'll try it again one more time, just to make sure we don't bust that egg yolk off. Alright, see there, that egg yolk is busted, but we saved it and didn't get any of the egg whites, so that's good. So that's 1 egg white that we need. So I went ahead and dumped our egg white into the mixing bowl that we're going to use. So we're going to show you the other method that you can use, where you just take the egg, give it a good crack, drop it into the bowl, and keep in mind your hands have to be clean and not oily, but you're just going to take your hand and very gently get under your egg yolk and lift it. Separate your fingers just a little bit so the gravity can pull that egg white off the egg yolk. And you can kind of rock it back and forth in your hand. See how we still got some egg white there? And you can even actually grab the egg yolk and kind of pull on it to help it separate from, or grab the egg white, sorry, and help it kind of separate from that egg yolk. And that's why you tend not to do it with your hands, because it breaks. Alright, so get your bowl back clean, make sure there's no egg yolks in it. I'm going to wipe my hands off. Alright, so I kind of got greedy trying to get all the egg white off. So I'm going to show you that it does work if you do it this way. Just don't get greedy. And I've already got an eggshell in there. So if you take your broken eggshell, you can see I've got some eggshell pieces in there. If you use your eggshell, very gently get in there. The eggshell will stick to the rest of the eggshell. That's just kind of the way they're designed. And it pulls out your pieces. You can call that Mother Nature's gift, that the eggshell likes to stick to itself. Alright, so without getting greedy this time, I'm going to go with my fingers, rock it back, pull all the egg white off. There's my yolk, and with the other yolk that I need. So here's my second egg white. So it can be done with your hands if you're worried about doing it with the shell. But you got to be willing to get messy to do it this way. All right, so we need our third egg white, but we don't need the yolk. So let me go ahead and get this done the original way. Let gravity take its course. Empty out the rest of the egg whites there. So you need a 1/4 teaspoon of cream of tartar. You don't actually need this. This is just a binding agent that makes the, or a stabilizing agent that makes the egg whites whip to stiff peaks faster. You can do it without it. It's just going to take it a little bit longer on its own. So you want to do a 1/4 teaspoon into your egg white. And you want a pinch of salt. So, I mean, nothing more than that. That's all you really need. And then you just want to crank this bad boy on high. All right, so you want to get to stiff peaks. So if you see here, the egg yolks, or the egg whites, where I pulled the beaters out, the egg white went stiff. So if you can take your finger and pull up like that, and that egg white stiff peak doesn't fall over, then it's a stiff peak. So that's good to go. While that's going, what you need to do is take your egg yolks and 2 ounces of cream cheese and beat them together until they're smooth in a bowl. Make sure your cream cheese is room temperature so that it's soft. Doesn't have to be like melting or anything like that, but you want it to be able to blitz into your egg yolks pretty smoothly. I've already done this once or twice today just to kind of test out the recipe. So the bowl, it's the same bowl I used earlier. So got your egg yolks in. Just want that till it's creamy. All right, so the next thing you want to do is take your egg whites and fold them into your egg yolk and cream cheese mixture. Now, I will tell you with this one, I'm using a chive and cream cheese blend instead of just plain cream cheese. You can use just plain cream cheese. This just kind of gives it a chivey flavor. So your bread will have like a little bit of extra flavor. So another thing that I did learn is instead of cheese, you could use flaky sea salt towards the end of the baking process, and I'll show you where to add that. So we're going to get all of our egg whites into this bowl. You want to be careful not to overwork your egg whites so you get you'll beat all the air out of them. And what it means to fold is you want to go to the bottom of the bowl, pull under everything, and then fold it back on top of itself. And you're just going to do that until it's well combined. Alright, so that's pretty well combined. It doesn't have to be perfectly combined because if you mix it too much, you'll lose that fluffiness that the egg whites have given you. So that's our mixture. I'm using wax paper. I'm going to tell you to get parchment paper. We just didn't have any. Parchment paper is probably going to be a lot better. It kind of sticks a little bit to this wax paper. So this is just the scoop I have. You can use a tablespoon or something, but you want to do kind of like equal scoops onto the parchment. So I want to go in, grab a scoop, and then plop it right down. And then do another one. They will kind of spread out a little bit, so keep that in mind. You want to make sure they're, far enough apart. This goes into the oven at 300 degrees for about 25 to 30 minutes, or until they get kind of light golden brown. At 25 minutes, if you want to put cheese on top, put cheese on top and let them go until the cheese melts. I'm going to do some flaky sea salt on these, and I'll show you about when that step is. So, into the oven. Alright, so this is what they look like at 5 minutes left to bake. So now you could add cheese to the top of these and let them go for another few more minutes, another 5 minutes. Or you could sprinkle sea salt, or even like red chili pepper flakes, something like that. Just kind of sprinkle over the top, pop it back in, let them finish out their 5 minutes in the oven. I'm going to add salt to mine and let them finish. And that's what they should look like when they're done. See, they've got this light golden brown color to the top of them. If you put cheese on them, they'll have a cheese pattern that's melted. So you gotta let them cool 2 to 3 minutes before you can really do anything with them. We're gonna let them cool longer, and then we'll come back and answer that question. How close to bread is this? And can you make a sandwich? Well, here it is. Cloud bread in a sandwich. I got a little bit of roast beef, some pickle, some lettuce, some cheese, some mustard. Let me get a little cross section for you, and then we'll give it a shot and see how it tastes. Alright, so there it is. It's kind of floppy like bread. It looks like bread on the inside, but it also looks like an omelet, so we'll see. After I bit into it, how it kind of squished away on both sides and fell apart a little bit. So, does it taste like bread? No. You can definitely tell there's no carbs or anything like that in it. It's got a very similar texture to bread. It works as a bread, like in a sandwich form, but it's not... It works like almost soggy bread, where it'll almost fall apart on you. But it's a good replacement. It's protein. The less egg yolks you use, the more egg whites you use, it's a little bit more healthy, a little less cholesterol and stuff in it. Will I make it again? Yeah, because I like a good sandwich, and I could make a sandwich out of this and probably eat, a whole or a half of one and not feel so bogged down by the bread and the carbs and stuff. So I enjoyed it. I think it's a good idea. If you've got this stuff laying around, I would give it a try, make it. You can be creative. You could use this for pizza dough. You would just make little ones, cook them, let them cool, add some sauce and some cheese, and then put them back in the oven under the broiler to kind of melt them a little bit. It's not going to hold up like pizza dough. You could add sesame seeds and onion powder and stuff to the mix as you were making it and give it almost like an everything bagel taste. It's something you could make on Sunday and then put in the fridge and use it throughout the week, because it's good for about 3 or 4 days in the fridge. You could even make this recipe and say to the egg yolks, add like chopped bell peppers or onions or like crumbled sausage, and cook these, and then you'd have like a breakfast disc that you could carry with you to work and stuff, and they'd be perfectly fine. It'd be a lighter, fluffier version of those like muffin tin egg breakfast things that you make. So give it a shot if you're looking for something similar to bread that you can maybe build a sandwich with. If you're looking for toast, it's not going to work. But it does work as a bread substitute. It doesn't have the same flavor, and it honestly doesn't taste eggy as you would expect it to, and I think that's on part because the cream cheese kind of mellows out that flavor. So give it a shot, play around with it, let me know what you think. Let me know if you tried it in the comments below. Tweet me out pictures if you do try it. Love you guys. Till tomorrow.